welcome to Market Open Direct Connect, a webinar series for companies to tell their story, why it's compelling and why it's an opportunity to invest. I'm your host, Stuart Walters, and we're joined here today by Gan-Ochir, the Managing Director of Asian Battery Metals, ASX code AZ9. Gan will provide a detailed company exploration results and activities update, and will also participate in a Q&A post-presentation. You can submit any questions via the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. And a recording of this webinar will be available on Market Open and Asian Battery Metals communication channels within the next 24 hours. I'd like to introduce our guest, Gan. Welcome to Direct Connect, and over to you.
Thanks, Stuart. It's for the great opportunity to present our company and provide an update on our current exploration activities. Good. So many of you know, Mongolia, our company is an emerging explorer for copper and nickel in Mongolia. The essence of our project is really it is a new discovery. It's a brand new discovery of copper nickel sulphide system in Mongolia, specifically in southwest part of Mongolia. So the advantage of being Mongolia is really next location, and it's a next door to largest processing capacity globally, which is China, and infrastructure directly connected to China. So basically, it provides us a great possibility to integrate into supply chain of the critical minerals in China. We also have a strong local experience and global exploration expertise complementing local experience, and we are finding these new discoveries over the past few years, which really the results of our work showing that this approach is working. Because we are very much Mongolia focused, and most of the teams are locally local experts, not only in technical, also in business side. So we are quite efficient, fast-moving organization, with well-funded with our recent close of the capital raise in last February. Again, Mongolia is accessible. The southwest part of Mongolia is quite accessible, close to market, is potentially a low-cost operating base. So that's the really competitive advantage of the Asian Battery Metals and its project in Mongolia. So I'll go into our flagship project, Oval Cu-Ni-PGE project now. So what we actually achieved this year, especially in 2025, in phase 2 drilling. So we have continued our intersect of the high-grade mineralization around the previously drilled areas, where we intersected quite high-grade massive sulphide in 2024. And we expanding the lateral and depth extensions of the mineralized ultramafic gabbroic rock. To this stage, we increased the massive sulphide intersect to 7. And then we showed that there is a strong continuity, semi-continuity, and connection from North Oval to Oval, confirming the mineralization over 800-meter corridor. And based on the regional studies, it is showing that there is definitely an emerging copper-nickel sulphide camp scale potential in our tenement, which covers 106 square kilometer areas with not much previous historic exploration done systematically for this type of mineralization in here. And then we are very well funded to continue and to execute our strategy for this year. So the latest results, as you may see, on the left-hand side, we have already announced our assays for these drill holes. These are showing overall we have well-mineralized system, which contains higher mineralized segment in it. Especially drill hole 33 and 32 has been quite important for us from geological and expression perspective, given that OVD033 has intersected broad mineralization over 88 meters, including 27.7 meters of more than 1.3% copper, more than 0.8% nickel plus PGE and gold, starting from 192 meters down depth. This is showing that the zone around massive sulphide has extensive mineralization in net textured mineralization, which has quite high grade. It is will provide great impact for grade and grade wise later on when we do the resource drilling. And then OVD32 also has intercepted more 5.5 meters at 293 meters depth, including 0.5 meters of massive sulphide. So the importance of this hole is we have intercepted what we call spotted rock. The spotted rock is usually envelopes around oval gabbroic intrusion. And in this hole 32, we intercepted the spotted rock on both sides of our mineralization, indicating this is a closed system. That's why we think it is potentially a feeder that will lead us to lower level mineralization for future exploration. And then on the right-hand side, of course, we are expecting some more pending results. One of the very exciting drill hole we drilled this year is OVD36, which is actually intercepted 2 meters of massive sulphide in a broader mineralization, but it is extending possibly the massive sulphide that we hit in North Oval area last year. We're extending it over 130 meters at down depth. So that's a significant extension of the mineralization of the North Oval, showing that North Oval is potentially actually larger than we anticipated. And definitely we will follow up with additional drilling and exploration in that area. OVD40 extended our massive sulphide intercept of 8.8 meters last year, which is OVD21. So OVD40 is expanding that intercept to the northwest direction and showing that mineralization is potentially open to the northwest. So we haven't delivered great results on the drilling within the oval area. And then we are pursuing our work to explore for and find additional mineralization on ore bodies surrounding oval area. This is last year's intercepts. Those who are not familiar with the last year's intercepts, we have our discovery hole OVD21. We intercepted 8.8 meters from 107 meters. The grade was more than 6% copper and more than 3% nickel plus 1.6 gram per ton PGE, platinum, palladium plus gold. And I always like to point it out, the massive sulfides are important. It's quite catchy, but in reality, what makes a mine is tonnage. And as you can see, the massive sulfides we hit actually is surrounded by the well mineralized, disseminated, heavy disseminated, or net textured mineralization, which is very important. And the grades of those ones are, as you can see in the highlighted segments, are quite high. So we are in a region where we are operating, which is dominated mostly by open pit mining operation, and in Central Asian orogenic belt, and also in Mongolia for copper open pit copper mining operations run with cut-off grade from 0.2% copper to 0.5% copper, right? So ranging in that region. So it is showing well that some of our disseminated mineralization is actually well above these cut-off grades to provide economics to have great impact to the economics down the road. To reach the detailed exploration area, we are continuing. We have drilled some of the drills starting from last year. We call it these are the holes that we numbered with SC scout holes. So as you can see here on the left side, we have a structural anomalies plus geochemical anomalies and the geophysical anomalies. And this is only a small part of our tenement. To understand, to evaluate, and to screen fully these targets, we have commenced our first ground-based deep penetrating higher power EM survey just a week ago, I think. Samsung EM completed by GAP Geophysics from Australia, and we are continuing on. The results of this work is going to be back to us in fully processed and interpreted version in mid-July. So we are really hoping to prioritize these targets and screen it, and then identify also buried mineralized ultramafic targets potentially for future drilling. So I would like to point it out, this is the first time this area is covered by EM, right? So we have done some IP survey in the past. We have done extensive magnetics, which we are still expanding for higher resolution magnetic survey. And those works will provide us new targets in upcoming drilling program. Regional targets, as we have announced last week, that MS1, MS2 targets that has really covered on a surface, but more of a geophysical and geological informations point to these targets. And we have drilled it. We have intercepted. We intercepted ultramafic rock in both of them. We intercepted unmineralized gabbroic rock in MS2, and we intersected weakly mineralized gabbroic to mafic ultramafic rock in MS1. So that is showing that this area has significant potential for hosting a number of different targets, and hopefully one of these targets will develop for future drilling. And at MS1, we can see mineralization. It's in blobby textured sometimes. We can see some chalcopyrite, but based on the geology-wise, it's probably higher in the system, potentially showing that we can actually target deeper. And we are extending our EM survey to this area, hoping that it will provide insight for our understanding. It's very important for MS1 area because MS1 area is covered by thick clay area. So that clay basically shields the efficiency of the prohibits the efficiency of the IP survey in this area. So EM hopefully will provide us a clear target. Very interesting. Quite excited about the results because we knew it's being covered. It's under more than 100 meter cover. So the hitting mineralized ultramafic was quite exciting results for our geology team. Copper Ridge, at the Copper Ridge, which is our copper gold project, and we're going to be aligning it with interpretation and expanded geophysics study will provide us future exploration in this area. Very early stage, all of these three anomalies, MS1, MS2, potentially same mineralization, same mineral system type as Oval. So looking at potentially, if not district, then definitely camp scale potential developing in our tenement. A lot of work happening. Geophysics, EM, borehole EM, downhole EM is working for us very well. So we're going to be complementing with Samsung EM. It's ground-based tool. And then we're using Provost EM modeling, which we tried last processing, which provided actually better understanding of the targets within our gabbroic intrusion, especially when we're using multi-hole drilling data, provides the limits, provides the complex nature of the high-grade massive sulphide zone. So will continue to use these tools, and it is actually pretty much coinciding with our geological insights. And next phase of the exploration will be dependent on it, and will continue providing results in the future. Next 3 months are pivotal for us. Assay is coming from additional holes. It's going to be due in late June, and then we have to complete the interpretation of the Samson EM surveys, and those results are going to be back to us. And then we're going to update the geological model, and we'll start preparation for the next phase of drilling. At this stage, we are well funded. At the end of the Q1, we had 5.9 million. We still roughly has 5 million with us in a cash in the bank. And on top of that, we are adding, the metallurgy test is coming to completion to provide us better understanding which elements are going to be economic. We have, always expressed that copper, nickel, plus PGE and gold, but we have, additional metals potentially could be economic to recover. So that would be very interesting to look at in upcoming July for metallurgy results. Why AZ9? Well, high-grade system confirmed, definitely growing. The size is growing in all directions, depth, lateral, and also we expanding regional understanding on top of it. Usually these type of deposits occur in clusters. For copper, nickel, sulphide deposits, they usually, terminology used a lot is actually camp scale, because they are actually in close proximity to each other rather than hundreds of kilometers. They usually contained within a few tens of kilometers. And then strong geophysics and geology convergence, as you can see, as we advance our project, efficient, well-funded, again, close to market, just, a very hard to beat location we have been operating in Mongolia. Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Gan. Fantastic presentation. Appreciate you taking part in this webinar today. We've had some great questions come in, so we'll get straight onto those. How confident are you that the Oval discovery is part of a larger camp scale system, and what evidence supports this?
Well, I think with each phase, our confidence is growing, especially with the latest drilling. When we actually drilled two geophysical anomalies, we intercepted mafic intrusion. One is very similar to what we see on top of our drill hole 9. So this is unmineralized gabbro that occurs on top of mineralized part. So it is showing its similar plumbing system of the intrusion coming from this area. And then also we hit the weakly mineralized ultramafic intrusion at MS2 or MS1, which is showing that there is a definitely favorable and fertile area for looking for to continue exploration in this region. So just drilling two blind targets, providing this feedback is quite increasing our confidence, and actually adding lots of curiosity in our exploration mode.
And what makes the recent intercepts at OVD033 and 34 particularly significant for the potential scale and grade of the Oval system?
Well, 34, 33, both of them confirms the previously drilled intercepted massive sulphides. It is showing that those intercepts from last year is potentially expanded within the overall gabbro intrusion, and that actually increases the overall grade of the oval. That is a great work. And then also 33 has intercepted additional, apart from the 27.7 meters of well mineralized net textured mineralization, roughly 100 meter, 90 meters level. It also intersected 7 meters of heavy disseminated mineralization at 160 meters. So that's very similar what we actually get beside massive sulfides. So potentially we think we can probably look for massive sulfides in that region. So it is quite significant for us, showing there is a two levels of mineralization happening. One is around 90 to 100 meters in the north side of the oval, and potentially 160 to 200-meter level from surface in southeast part of the oval. So it is showing and confirming the concept.
And you've spoken about a feeder system at depth. What is the exploration strategy to target this potential source intrusion?
Yep. So to the primary driver or tools that we use to target a drill hole is downhole EM plus magnetics, and then lesser extent gravity and then IP survey. So to understand the deeper part, to add the confidence in our magnetic inversion, we are expanding detailed high-resolution magnetic survey that we conducted last year. So we're expanding it. With this expansion, the hour inversion can be interpreted to the a level of 600, 700 meters quite easily. So we, in a way, the magnetic study is getting to the deeper. On top of that, Samson EM is the ground EM exploration survey is really key for us to understanding overall mineralization around oval and also extension to the depth. So these two is going to be adding value for us before we actually drilling deeper targets.
Can you give us a clearer picture of the regional upside beyond the oval discovery, particularly MS1, MS2, and Copper Ridge?
Yep. I mean, so if you look at the magnetic regional map, oval sits on one general magnetic trend, and then there's a parallel magnetic trend that goes slightly north from oval, and that hosts MS2. And those two magnetic trends comes to the southeast side in our tenement, and then it somewhat gets in closer in one area, and that area is in the vicinity of the MS1. So what we're seeing is potentially a mineralized, hoping that it would be a mineralized dike system that we are seeing in these regional magnetics, and with with the drill hole results from MS1 showing early signs of mineralization, we think there's definitely a regional potential in our tenement.
Gan, you mentioned that assays from additional holes are due soon. How could these results shift your understanding of the systems or next phase priorities?
It's, especially 36 is quite important for, because 36 and 38, 39 is going to be drilled in area that are connecting North Oval and Oval. That's almost like 100-meter span area. And if it confirms high grade there, it is potentially showing, the significant extension of the North Oval area. As I said, we anticipated lesser size based on the magnetics, but it's showing that the mineralization is actually beyond the strong magnetic signal. So that's quite important for us. And then, this connection shows that these systems, it will give us a better understanding of the structural changes happening in between the zones that we are drilling.
And the current financial position of the company, how far will current funding take you in terms of drilling and regional exploration?
In exploration, we are well covered. We have raised 4 million in last February, as I mentioned, and we are well covered to deliver this year's strategy for exploration. Plenty of cash for us. That's the advantage of actually operating in Mongolia, because our drilling cost is roughly 40 to 50% of the drilling cost in Australia. So with the same fund, we could achieve a lot of drilling, a lot of geological and exploration work completed this year.
How does the proximity to China and local infrastructure improve the economics and development pathway for a discovery like Oval?
Yeah, I mean it's great location, right? Being right next to China. I mean, compared to some projects, let's say in Africa, they want to be on a railroad to get access to the seaborne market, and then see from seaborne to get shipped to China. So basically, we are right outside of China, and we Mongolia as a country, we deliver lots of goods to China, bulk commodities. So it provides us that proximity to the market, and down the road it provides also additional advantage, and that including market accessibility and then also financing, right? So whenever the project becomes to that development scale, that's very important for us. Um,
And how important is the team's experience in Mongolia, both technically and operationally, in progressing this discovery efficiently?
yeah, it's quite important because the Asian Battery Metal was formed as a Mongolian company. Later on, moved the head office to Australia and got listed last year. But I think in essence, um, that the advantage of having core team located in Mongolia is great, worked great for us with 2 or 3 discoveries potentially over the last 4 years. So local geological knowledge, plus supported by the well-formed business structure we have, I think it's going to be instrumental for us. We have beyond our exploration, we have very good team that are supporting in not only finance but also in community relations and business side of identifying and acquisition of different projects, etc. So we're working quite aggressively in Mongolia, and with a perspective potentially from transitioning from early stage exploration company into well-established project company, eventually go moving into development company. I think we are well prepared for that transition, I think.
And Australian investors can be wary of Mongolia due to its political vitality. What should they, or how should they view the risks versus opportunities today?
Well, that's exactly that advantage of that Mongolian team is we understand what's noise, what's not, what's reality. Sometimes Mongolia is, I think, misunderstood jurisdiction. People see a bit, as you said, volatile, politically volatile. But it's if you look at like policy-wise and regulation-wise, it's not that volatile. Yes, as a country, we change governments quite often. We just changed government last week. We have now new PM installed and new cabinet is announced. So it is democracy, stable democracy that has gone through the power change of power multiple times over the last 20 years. I think true expression of the stability and democracy is actually transition of the power, right? So we have gone through this process a lot. So the country, doesn't really change too much the general direction of it. So, in my opinion, Mongolia is mature mining jurisdiction, and our board is consists from the uh, David Paul, our chairman, worked in people who have worked in Mongolia a long time. David Paul, our chairman, has been operated in Mongolia more than 10 years. Neil Young has operated in Mongolia in CBM business, and Kristin Livermore, who has been our board member and also worked in Mongolia. So we are quite comfortable to promote as a combined team as Mongolia as an investment destination.
Given the recent Oval discovery and the continued expansion progress, has there been any discussions recently or external interest regarding a potential takeover or acquisition?
Well, in my opinion, we still early stage of exploration, right? So we early stage of the exploration. There are plenty of exploration needs to be done by us. We need to show this regional potential. We need to show the overall potential of the oval and show the mineral system. Do we have engagement with other companies? Of course. I mean, it's mining industry is small community, so we do have engagement with different companies. But again, we are still in exploration stage. There are plenty of value to unlock for us, for our shareholders through exploration. And then we'll see.
Gan, last one from me. Beyond the drilling results, what are some of the key milestones or strategic priorities for AZ9 in the second half of 2025?
We're going to need to finish our Samsung EM. So this is the first time we're doing ground EM. So it's quite instrumental for us to understand overall targets and screen large area. And then based on that, we're going to start next phase of drilling. And at the end of the year, and then methodology test is going to be quite instrumental. Really, what we're trying to show is the size, potential, and then bringing in that methodological test results. Most likely, this is the economics part of it, right? So commercial part of it. So trying to full scale potential and full scale commercial is going to be instrumental for us, and then prepare for potentially resource in next year.
Gan, thank you. That's all that's come through today. Some fantastic questions. So thank you to attendees for sending those through. And also appreciate you taking part in the Q&A as discussed. For more information about Asian Battery Metals, head to the company website, asianbatterymetals.com, or you can follow the company's social media channels. Thank you to everybody for attending today's webinar. We'll keep you posted for future webinar opportunities. Gan, thank you. Wishing you all the best and look forward to chatting again soon.
Thank you, Stuart.